Welcome to Homekeeping, the essentials of island living. Brought to you by Digicel Plus, I'm your host, Stephen Cox. We've all experienced trying to hang a picture on a wet Bermuda stone wall just for it to come crashing down. Equally, we've all had the experience of fumbling around during a hurricane after the power goes out in desperate need of that flashlight we stored in the drawers a few years ago. On the other side of this, we've all found that perfect couch on Emu just for it not to fit through our front door. I say these as they underscore the difficulties that we face as homeowners or DIY enthusiasts here in Bermuda. Join me now as I chat with Amodi, Mr. Fix-It, Nia Bongo about the essential tools and their uses for a new homeowner in Bermuda. Amodi, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. Well, I see you've set out some tools here for us to discuss. Walk me through what the ideal toolkit looks like for a new homeowner.
Well, first of all, the toolkit that you're going to have is always going to be evolving depending on the project that you're going to be working on. So, for example, your standard pliers, this would be one of the first tools you'd get, but it's not like you would use this in every project going forward. So you might have to go back, purchase another pair of pliers, a different style of pliers.
Fair enough, yeah. How would you say we start to learn what the different pliers are or what the different uses of these tools could be?
Okay, well, for the most part, what's going to happen is you're not going to realize that the pliers that you have, you can't use until you get into the project. So you might want to do a little research on what's the goal of the project. So for example, if I'm fixing a bicycle for a child, these pliers would work. But if I'm going to work on maybe some minor plumbing around the house, like changing a faucet, then you're talking about tongue and groove pliers where they're adjustable to fit the size of whatever you're trying to move.
Fair enough. A common Bermuda tool, if you will, is duct tape. We love duct tape. We use it for just about everything, but there are different uses and different kinds of tape. Talk to me a little bit about the difference between Gorilla Tape and that of duct tape.
Okay, so duct tape, if you're packing something away for storage, duct tape is good for that. On cardboard boxes, something minor. If you're prepping for a storm or a hurricane, you want to have Gorilla Tape. What you do is you put the Gorilla Tape across the seams where your 2x4s or your 3/4 plywood joins up, but it's not a tight seal.
So the other common Bermuda tool is WD-40. We say we can use it on everything, likely including our knees, but ultimately there are safe uses for WD-40 and there are specific uses for WD-40.
Yes, you're correct. WD-40 is primarily for metal products. You're talking about your door hinges. You're talking about maybe the security lock on your windows, maybe a screen door spring. You can also use it to clear rust off of parts. You use it to loosen screws and also to lubricate bicycle chains or moving parts on an automobile. It's not specific automobile parts, but loose stuff, you know.
Right.
Okay, not your important things. You're not going to put this in your motor to keep your motor running smooth. No, you're not going to do that.
What are some of the things you wouldn't use it on that are household items?
That's a good question, actually a good statement. What happens, you don't want to use it on plastic products. What happens is the chemicals in here might break down the life and longevity of the plastic products. You also don't necessarily want to use it on wood. You might want to use it to clean up grease or oil on certain surfaces, but you want to stick primarily to metal.
So we all had the experience of going outside to fix something or going in the other room to fix something. You bring a screwdriver with you. It's the wrong screwdriver. How do we identify exactly how many screwdrivers we need in our toolkit, but also when we utilize them?
Okay, well, first off, we have two basic types of screwdriver. What we call a Phillips screwdriver, which has an X on the head, and a flathead screwdriver, which has two sides. What happens is, depending on the type of screws you're using, so for example, we were talking about hurricane prep. Hurricane prep, you want to use a Phillips type screw. It's stronger, it's more robust. You don't necessarily want to use a flathead screw because if you wind up shaving the screw, you can't get it out and then you need another tool to get it out. That's a lot of problems. But these are primarily your primary screwdrivers. Now they all come in different sizes and different lengths depending on what the job is that you're trying to do. Also, I have to give you a caveat. The tips are magnetic, so you don't want to leave them there anything digital, okay?
And I'm assuming we wouldn't use a screwdriver to hang a picture on a wall. Obviously there's different kinds of walls that you can discuss, but what would be the process for actually trying to hang a picture on a Bermuda wall?
Okay, we're talking about a Bermuda stone wall. What happens is you'd want to first drill out the hole, okay? And then after that, the hole you're going to drill is going to be a little bit bigger than the screw you're going to put in. So you're going to put an anchor in there. Also, you may want to put some Gorilla Glue in there to expand and help it stick and keep it in the wall. Then you put your screw in, and the screw can be any size. It depends on the size of the picture, the weight of the picture, and you have to do trial and error to see how it works.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in a very short period of time. I've certainly learned a lot about these tools, but if you were to give some advice to our viewers, where would you take us?
Well, first of all, I'd give you 3 bits of advice. The first thing is safety first. Always prepare. Take your time and ask good questions, and that's pretty much it. That's a good place to start.
Awesome. Thank you, Modi. I appreciate all the advice. I'm sure our viewers do as well. You've been watching Homekeeping, the essentials for island living. Brought to you by Digicel Plus, Bermuda's most reliable home internet service.